Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have to talk a little quiet because I woke up really early this morning for no real reason. And I have to be quiet or I'm going to get in trouble, okay, if I wake people up. So I want to start here. This is a great tweet from eGreg Crypto. I like what he's getting at here, because this kind of summarizes why I've been here all along. XRP, the power of 27 times. Technical principle states the longer the consolidation, the stronger and lengthier the ensuing breakout. This post delves into that idea. We're here to analyze XRP price behavior on a monthly timeline. Let's look at the time spent accumulating and potential multipliers when XRP broke those accumulation zones. I've identified five. Here's the five he's identified. If you look at his chart here. 3 times from 2014 to 2015, then 2 times, then there was a consolidation here, 14 times, and then 8 times here in 2018, and then 2008. He shows how long we've been consolidating since then, and with a big question mark with an X. So look at this. Let's do some math. Considering the all-time high, $3.30. 27 times from the all-time high is 90, 6.75 times from the all-time high is 22, 2 times the all-time high is 660, highest multiplier 14 times from all-time high is $46. In my personal opinion, remember, the longer the base, the higher the rise. This 27 times surge combines all previous multipliers, will be in play. Stay steady. I love it. That's a good one. There's no reason, to me, when I think about all the things that have been done to try to stop Ripple and stop XRP, to me, there is no asset that I could own that would have more potential than this. Now, here's a good video that was put together by this Cyprus Domanicore. I don't know. Anyway, watch this.
So it's clear that this market needs to come from the big players, and I think that especially here in this audience, people that have been working on it for several years have been a little bit, okay, why is it so slow? And I think that the point where we're here today is different from where we were a year ago. At this point, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys and your peers are coming in a big way. It's just happening at the pace that it's coming, and to make regulators comfortable with it.
I think that's right, and I think it's accelerating, for sure.
So, as you all heard from that video intro, the representative from State Street confirming that the big...
And for those of you that don't know what State Street is, that's the largest, it's one of the top 3 traditional custodians, think stock certificates and that kind of stuff, bonds, traditional custodians in the world. They've been prepping for this technology big time.
Players are coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I've shown you all synchronicity and key vocabulary. Do you all remember the CyberX researchers found back on September 11, 2023? The London Stock Exchange Group went on to say, head of capital markets at the LSEG earlier today told Financial Times the London-based exchange had been examining the potential for blockchain-powered trading venues for around a year and had reached an inflection point. I've shown you all multiple times in the past that these elites use the same vocabulary across the board. Listen to this representative from JP Morgan mention the same exact terminology, and listen to this representative from Goldman Sachs say the same exact thing. They mention the terminology inflection point.
Investors realize that actually digital bonds are cheaper than regular bonds, and they kind of go, actually, I'd like to buy more of those. How do we get? And then you start to hit the inflection point where that market develops. And
you know, I think one thing that's everybody knows about Goldman Sachs is that you're really good at timing the market, and in this specific market,
timing or manipulating.
Like you're quite early. And do you think you're quite early? Is it now the right time to deploy? Where do you see the horizon? What is the timeline that you see realistic?
I've been watching this show called Succession on HBO, And this family is very wealthy, and they own a giant media company. And the family is having a conversation about whether to sell their company. And one of the sons comes in and tells the dad, well, why don't we keep the media arm of the company, so that, and he specifically says, if we keep the media, the media, that way we can control the message. And he basically comes out and says we can manipulate the markets by controlling the media. And this is the kind of stuff these big guys have been doing for years. And the reason I bring that up is because this is how these people play the game. It's not a coincidence that CNBC carries their narrative. It's not a coincidence that all these major traditional financial outlets carry their message for them. This is how they tank the markets, and this is how they buy when it's low. This is how they play the game, and they've done it for decades, if not hundreds of years.
For an institution such as Goldman Sachs to be able to be, in production with a tokenization solution.
Yeah, interesting. I'm hoping we're not too early. I would say, actually, I feel we're at this inflection point. So,
ladies and gentlemen, this video breakdown is only from August 10th, has 35 freaking views. This video is only from a month ago and has 126 views. This is physical proof that nobody is tapped into this information. However, now you watching the Cyprex platforms, you all know that these big institutions are for a fact coming. They're openly telling you all this in their panel discussions that nobody is watching.
They manipulate these markets down. They get their regulators and their everybody else to scare everybody so they can buy. And then once all that's done, then they turn it on. Check this out. This is from Jungle Inc. 2.0. Breaking: New York crypto regulator removes XRP from its approved list of cryptocurrency. John Deaton says, after it was determined not to be a security, it is not even a security if Ripple sells it on exchanges. Yeah, this move isn't politically or punitive in nature. Then Stefan Huber points out that this Adrian Harris was working at Sullivan Cromwell. She was then at the Treasury, then at the White House, and then on the Biden-Harris transition team, and then whatever. But anyway, I'm conflicted on this one, and I'll show you why. Trying to decide which file this goes in. Is this red file? Let me see what people down here think. Almost a new red file. That is the same woman in both posts, is it not? JP Morgan influence betting. She continues to nurture that spirit of interdisciplinary engagement. Kurt Rowlett, she was a professor at Michigan. This is from an article, from a Ripple.com article. Here it is, right here. How does DLT engender greater financial inclusion? This is when she was a professor, I think, at University of Michigan, and she's literally quoted down here talking about Ripple's UBRI University Blockchain Research Initiative. It's really important from the standpoint of both education and real-world problem solving. So we don't know if she's a friend and this is all the world's a stage, or if she's a turncoat. That's one of them. And then Stefan Huber last 2 days he's been over the top of something interesting. He's questioning Peter Thiel and whether Peter Thiel's a good guy or a bad guy. He says Palantir's law firm, which is Peter Thiel's company, law firm offered Bill Hinman to pay for his expenses in exchange for a closed group private meeting. Bill Hinman said this was something that he and the SEC wanted to do. So I don't know how Mr. Huber finds these things, but he does. This is from Bill Hinman in a reply, I think, to a request for a meeting by Peter Thiel's attorneys or whatever. Not really sure on that one yet. John Deaton, if everything works out, I'll have a big announcement this Friday, and no, I'm not suing anyone yet. Be interesting to see what that is about. Then the judge declined the SEC's request to inspect Binance.us. So I'm sure that's something that'll be appealed. Now, this citizen of the future has been putting out some of these maps, and they are wild. It's a I don't know what you call these. Let me see what you call these maps. Is there some word for them? Connections, and he doesn't. I don't know if there's a term for the type of map this is, but he's basically tying all the different people in that have been involved in things like ETHGATE. You can see Onyx by J.P. Morgan. That was built on Ethereum, my understanding, but it's got all the ties. There's A16Z. Over here's Bill Hinman, Jay Clayton, Gensler. Look, there's Glenn Ellison, the dad of Caroline, who was at Alameda, which is FTX subsidiary. And then if you go, let's see any more interesting ones that I see. There's Simpson Thatcher right there. Well, this is interesting. And then over here, we've got this Truth Labs boring sleuth guy, and he's going nuts these days with some awesome information. And we don't say this word anymore on this channel because we get censored if we do. In the United States of America, you're not allowed to say that word in any kind of bad manner. You can't infer anything bad about that word, at least on YouTube. So we just don't mention it. We'll have to have a code word, I guess. What has happened to this country? I mean, really. He says, I've been working on this in the background. Currently, I've documented 1,890 of the first 2,000 Ethereum blocks. Of those, 93% of the blocks mined are all directly tied to you-know-who in this country. Ethereum's largest ICO backer, the largest disguised whale, folks. And then he did this one. Check this out. This is tracking back the Ethereum wallets. Here's the Genesis block. There's Vitalik right there. Look who you see there. Starts with a W from that country. W. Houston, we have a problem in the United States of America. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. I keep saying it on this channel, we either have a country now or we don't. And I'm really concerned that we don't, for my children. We have some real corrupt problems in this country. We have some problems with politicians that I'm afraid have been bought and sold. Thanks for listening.